I completed my novel after 5 years. I'm a little nervous because next week I'm sending it out to 25 pre-readers that read this type of fiction thrillers. But I know you've been working on your own book, and I'd love to know where you are in the process and how that experience has been for you.
Thank you. Well, so I'm in the process of on maybe my fifth draft, and I've had to take the scalpel and the paper shredder and the leaf blower and everything to those pages in order to keep writing it and rewriting it, rewriting it. So we're in the pre-reading stage as well. The Sparkle Miner. Has been a wonderful process of figuring out like what it is that I do. How am I able to communicate with nonverbal people with autism and help to find their sparkle and help to lead them on meaningful paths? It is really about sparkle mining journey and just these different like out of the box ways that I have come together to build the Prospector Theater, to build Gemstone Farm, to help people have meaningful lives through meaningful work. Absolutely an incredible process. And so before, like what I do, my process of sparkle mining was very foreign to people because I automatically think of things. I connect dots.
What you're saying is to reverse engineer what you just do intuitively. It's hard.
It's hard. So like I know the process that I do, but to
Right.
say to somebody else, "Oh, don't worry, just go out and tap your maple. Just don't worry if you can't figure out like how to follow
Right.
the storyline. Just make a coloring book," because those are the things that I was like actually like physically doing.
You're an artist too, right?
I am. So that was so inaccessible to people. But now with AI, anybody can have the same kind of tools that I have, prompts into the AI, and the AI can help you out with different things. The applications for using AI with people with autism and other, this is something that I'm on the front lines of, and so I'm able to write about and show others how we make it work. And I can give you an example of this that's going to go into the book. Is I have a woman with autism. We run a farmers market outside my farm gates every Wednesday and Friday. And with autism and many other disabilities, everything is very structured. You know, you can't deviate from what time everything's going to happen. Everything has to happen at a certain. Well, on this day, it was 3 o'clock. We're ready to shut down the farmers market, and suddenly three cars pulled in, and so we could not shut down the farmers market. But I tell my friend Rachel, we're going to stay open until 3:30, and she begins to have just a she did not want to be doing that. That was not on the clock. That was not on the schedule. And so she begins to melt down. So I could not have her having a meltdown in front of everybody at the, who has just walked in. It also would have been meltdown if I said to her, okay, just leave. Because then I'm just, showing that people with disabilities, maybe just, keep them excluded or whatnot. Instead, I just went right into Chat GPT. And I know that Rachel absolutely loves this Canadian like children's show called Whimsy's
Right.
House. And I know nothing about Whimsy's House because that's not my, I don't watch that. I don't have that channel. And so I had ChatGPT come up with something in Whimsy's voice, helping Rachel to come up with like to be able to sit there, be able to continue her job, and use her fingers and wiggle out the stresses and whatnot. But it was completely in Whimsy's voice, in her vernacular, in what she would say on one of her shows, which actually infuriated Rachel so much that she forgot that she was upset about working at the market, was able to continue to work at the market because she had Whimsy's voice there. Rachel was able to focus on the tasks, and using AI to help me with Whimsy to come up with these different soft and life skills that Rachel needs to use has become a standard practice. So that is something that just by learning about that I use the technology in that way. Other people can try that with their own recipe for whoever, whatever encounter they're coming into. And it is scalable.
You have a member who you would like connect with. Not only was he like entrepreneur of the year nationwide last year, but he wasn't good in school at all. But he was very smart. And he couldn't get any college. So he tried to get into this one. The woman wouldn't see him. He basically flew there and waited all day and basically begged and said, if you let me in, I'm going to get straight A's and I'm going to be successful. I'm going to support this university. By the grace of God, she felt sorry for him, let him in. He did get straight A's. And a few months ago gave the largest donation in the history of this particular university. And the reason I bring him up is not only is he disrupting autism care in the US, he has 50 full time AI individuals in Washington state that are developing AI for healthcare. And what he did with his donation was a school of public health focused on autism research. He and his wife both joined, and they are super philanthropic, have a daughter with autism. So I don't think they've heard of what you're talking about. They're using AI, I think, more for like optimizing the expansion from 16, 17 states into others, to assessing individuals quicker, to providing better care. None of the things they do have anything to do with pharmaceuticals. It's all early stage interventions that have a significant impact. The problem is the training of
Right.
the individuals. But I am
Of
going
right,
to
I
connect
would love
you.
to connect with them because it's the teaching of the teachers is really
Yes, that's the key.
what I am great at, and because I've got kind of this, like, this dual role, of being creative, but also being, an educator. I know how to teach the teachers to do it, and I believe that now it is scalable the way that I am using this AI, and I do believe it is in a novel way. So, and I develop all of this just from analog ways that I used to do this. So when I would meet someone with nonverbal autism, I've got these different like toy buckets and these treasure tubes, and I would spill out before us all sorts of different just toys, trinkets, little action figures, dolls, things like that represent all kinds of different like interesting things in pop culture and just anything. And then I look to see what that person gravitates toward. So they might pick up a baseball card or a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle and just be like fully deep experts on those things. AI helps me, and could help anybody to be able to hone in on that and just use the power of that thing in that person's life in order to just open up communication, start communication. And so it's from these analog ways that I was doing it in the past
Right.
that those would tell me, well, Val, you've got this creative, you're able to like connect these dots and everything else. It's a level playing field right now. We all have this technology with us right now that anybody really can adopt these practices. And so it is the teachers that we need to teach.
And I'm who knows, maybe I'm on the spectrum. My kids think I'm a humanoid robot or something
We all are,
because
Charlie. That's why it's a
yeah,
spectrum. We're
I
everybody's on the spectrum.
I have probably 3,000 hours invested into AI, and because I can read extremely fast, and I type probably 140 words a minute, it's just incredible. I call it a third mind because you connect your intelligence and creativity to the best teacher if you put it in the right role model, and you say, "Hey, I want you to be these 5 people." They think very differently. This is what I think. How would you take that? What do you think? And then you make them argue against each other because I want to learn. And then out of all that comes this new idea that has like, and you go, wow, it's unbelievable.
It opens up whole new portals. And I am also writer. I don't know what to compare it to, maybe, when runners get in the zone or whatnot, but, when I am writing, I absolutely lose time,
Me
and
too. It'll be 7 in the morning. That'll be
yeah,
7 at night.
all of a sudden, yeah, I realize wherever I am, even if I'm sitting out in the woods, right, wherever I am, all of a sudden I realize I come back into my body and I realize I'm freezing cold and the everybody's gone and it's like I have to like I got it because I've lost time because I've just like entered into this.
My wife always knows where I am because I use these German mechanical keyboards, and my wife said it sounds like 1,000 beetles, like scurrying about, and if I'm upset or I'm writing like a really, I don't know, dramatic scene, so I'm like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, I love that. That is like the art and theater of the writer. It truly is. And I'm really an old school girl, and so I've got like my favorite pens, my notebooks around me at all times. When you're a writer like that, going back and transcribing what I've written
Right.
and I can't type it with as fast as you can type, not even close. But I love being able to, after I have gone through one of these massive like writing sessions, I guess maybe you would call them, being able to just photograph each page and then load it up into one of my bots. You have to be very, very careful and mindful of it. You can't take it, you have to make sure you keep that journal, but still being able to, and then also like in real time, being able to have one of the bots read what you've just written and then summarize what is it that I've just written. Does this make sense? And how does this fit into the canon of the rest of the things that I've written? It all comes in and it all makes sense.
Since I was 20 years old, I wanted to have a column in a newspaper. And it took me 40 years because I got the first column in 11 years on Market Watch, which is the sister publication of the Wall Street Journal. So I am writing now 3 columns a week. And and what happens every time now, one of my columns hit like 800,000 readers. So
Congratulations.
yeah, I'll get like 30 to 50 emails. I answer them all. But, I have a very like PJ O'Rourke, sarcastic. I like to entertain people and laugh and joke. I have kind of a dark humor about me when I write. The people that I just want to write back and say thank you, if I had like an agent, which I'm working on, that will just automatically send those, but then the 15 that I really have to think and I have to, because I'm writing about financial stuff. So someone will say, hey, I looked at this and is this what you're talking about? Sometimes it'll take me, 20 minutes to answer. And my fear is if I'm getting 200 emails, I can't deal with the volume, but I could get AI to look at all of my, million emails I've written and draft and prepare something that I could then look at. Then I'm editing and not like creating from. So I'm looking how to go from using AI for writing to creating agents. So I hired there's a R360 son-in-law who lives close by. He has a degree in AI, dual degree in AI, like from Duke and a master's at Stanford. So I said, hey, can you come to my house, spend 4 or 5 hours with me? I'd like to hire you. And then I want to develop these 4 agents, but I need you to teach me how to do these things so I can take it to the next level. And the funny thing is, I have 4 kids and they're coming to me now for like how to use AI. It's like I'm an old, well, my youngest daughter says I'm not old, I'm ancient, but it's been such a
Well, I could see the
relief.
Charlie Garcia LLM, like LLM, and so it would, you know, answer a question as you would. And so I
Yeah.
think that if, once we get to trust these agents and these agents that they have got our voice, then it will. And in a way, it makes you eternal.
After we have an R360 meeting, I am loading for those that missed it, like what happened, who talked, what were the highlights. And we have a guy working independently for Sylvia, who's in Australia, and he was able to generate, somebody had done my voice and it sounded like 60 or 70%. But he has this, he's a genius. He did a voice that I played it for my wife. She couldn't tell it wasn't me. So,
Deep
s-
fake, deep
yeah.
fake.
So, yeah, yeah. So now I'm putting out like a 2 or 3 minute video of the highlights of what happened during the meeting. And then the other thing is we had this meeting where everybody talked about books they're reading, all these different like resources, but I can't take notes that quick. So there's this little gadget called Plod,
Love
which,
it. Love, love, love the plot
yeah.
note. Love the
So I'm
plot note.
just starting to use it. And now I can say, hey, what did everybody say? So I can put it in one document with links. That's the other thing. Every time I have a fact, I have to have a link so somebody can check it. And that would take me like 2 hours. But now I can load it into a program called Perplexity, which is really good at this stuff. And I'll say, not only find me the links, but these are the sources that I need the links to come from, and then hook the link onto it. And it takes 5 to 8 minutes versus 2 hours.
Absolutely amazing. And so I hope that with educational reform, I hope that teachers and educators and professors are absolutely leaning into this. But what I've seen so far just from local is everyone saying, no AI, AI is stealing, AI is not your words, AI is not that. But it's it is here. And so you need to learn how to harness it and how to use it. So you are your authentic self and you are doing the work, but it frees so much time so that you can be working on more and other projects and just getting more and more robust and more in depth. Absolutely magical, magical tool.
But you and I are in a different, like, space because we're built the way that we're built, and we're so curious, and we need, like, you're a I'm a scientist too, so I'm trying to figure it out, and who do I go to? I hired a guy, I paid him for a year for creative writing. He was good at, like, teaching me the basics, but not once did he ever take something I wrote and said, "Look, this is the way that you should write it," and then explain to me why. But I found that AI could, I was paying 5,000 a month, and now for, 200 a month,
Yes.
it's like 20x better. It
It's absolutely outstanding, and yeah, I just know, I majored in English in college, and so I was always in the creative writing, and so you'd write something, give it to the professor, and I'd be absolutely just horrified when I would get my writings back with,
Yeah,
like, B plus smiley face on it. That means that there's no way that you can even improve that, but also you've got that
terrible.
wait time, the time that you're doing this and that. So, now when I'm writing my essays, my content, I throw it through both ChatGPT and Grok because you get ChatGPT and Grok are very, very, very different. And but I have them play the role a PhD level professor at a top writing school and give me the feedback that I need because I yearn for the critical feedback. I want to hear I want to hear the absolute worst. I want to hear I've got to hear the worst.
I opened an account at Vanguard the other day, and it says, "Who was your favorite, teacher?" It's like, these secret questions, and I always put 4th grade. Why? Because I would turn in my English paper, and it would come back with so many red marks. And I was like, "Thank you." Because, getting a check mark and a smiley face, well, what does that do for me? Nothing,
Right on.
0.
Right on. And so as you're going to you said your book is going out to your 25 trusted readers, and I think that the greatest insult that you could get from any of those readers or people that you just absolutely have no use for are the people that say it was really good.
No, 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 yeah, I talked to a guy at HarperCollins, and he was the one. I said, "Look, I sent it out to, like, 10 readers that were all, like, friends of mine in R360. The problem is, 2 of the readers that were giving me feedback, I'm like, "Well, they don't read." I said, "Did you read the Da Vinci Code?" Because it's like, this is like the Da Vinci Code on Star. I said, "No, we saw the movie, but we're not big readers." I started the summer, like in May, with 163,000 words, and I ended with 118,000. And that was really hard work. You talk about, like, what pumpkin you're gonna get rid of. My
It
words,
absolutely
like,
it absolutely to the pumpkin
"Oh
patch.
my god,"
But you know,
my best lines.
if I could, extend that for you, it's still you need to take that pumpkin off because it means you're gonna have 50, 100 pounds more of beast at the end, and so you have to make those hard cuts. And
Yeah.
but I also do not believe that those hard cuts, I would not erase them from the world forever. I do believe that there's extra like places for the edited things. It's just maybe not the right garden for them to be in at the time, but doesn't mean it's lost forever.
With creative writing, you gotta create a movie in their head, and if something stops the movie, you're dead.
Absolutely. So do you give your readers prompts that you would like them to answer, or do you just sit down with them? Are you gonna sit
No, no,
down with
no.
them?
This is what happened. So what this guy told me is, say, "Look, don't go to your friends. There's this company. They have 27,000 readers, and they're going to pick 27, assuming 2 are going to drop out. So you have at least 25. But you can say, okay, my book. If they haven't read the Da Vinci Code, they can't read. They can't read.
Got it, got it,
I'm
got
looking
it.
for Bitcoin enthusiasts because my protagonist is the founder of Bitcoin. Um, it's a historical religious thriller. I'm looking for Christians, Bitcoin enthusiasts who love reading this type of book. So of 27,000, they pay them, and they ask them 40 questions, but 3 of those questions I can give them. And they have to answer all of those questions, and then you get a consolidated. Now, this is one for fiction, but there's other companies that do nonfiction, and they said the value of people that don't know you, they're just going to answer the question, and then you get the consolidated feedback, and then I can, but I want to know, when do they fall in love with my character, and it can't be.
Right.
I want them to. I want
Yeah.
them in the first 2 chapters.
Right. And my questions for people who have read it and come back to me are, what made you laugh? What made you laugh? What made you cry? Like, what
Yes,
made you feel
yeah, and
things?
my
Like, what did you want to skip? What did you want to skip ahead on? What did you need more
yes,
on? And those very,
absolutely.
very and just the profound responses that you get from,
You gotta
it's
generate
really
emotion. My
yes,
writing has gotten so much better because I'm not an emotional guy, but now it's like, "Hey, there's actually like 100 emotions, not like 3." But my test was I would go to my mom, if I read one of my columns for Market Watch and she didn't laugh 2 at least twice, I was like, "Okay, this didn't work."
yes,
You know?
yeah.
But if I get her to laugh or chuckle 2 or 3 times, okay, okay, it's good.
Maybe we are not that different from giant pumpkins, and it's that shock, that awe that the writer needs in order to flourish. You need to hear that, you need to have it and hear it from your audiences. Now, I'm not an expert in Bitcoin, I'm not, although I did submit to you a possible, article for MarketWatch, I believe, about, how giant pumpkin seeds are even more valuable than Bitcoin because there's a finite amount of them with only about 250 giant pumpkin seeds within each pumpkin. They're very, very valuable. But
Wow.
you know, writers need to have that, like that, the to hear the just the response from humans to their writing.
I don't open with, like, who the person is. I keep you in suspense, so you don't really know. You don't know his name until, like, chapter 4, but I'd love to send you just chapter 1 and 2 and just see what you think of my protagonist. One of my favorite authors is Lee Child, and he got fired when he was 40 years old, and he started the Jack Reacher
Mm,
series,
mhm.
and I fell in love with the character, so I've read all. This is his 30th book, and it's always the same thing. He shows up in some town. He's this big guy. He used to be a cop, and he just walks around with a toothbrush and cash, and he, of course,
What else do you need?
rescues some damsel in distress or somebody, and everybody thinks he's some, and he saves the day. I wanted to ask you a very important question. 80% of adults with disabilities are unemployed in America, and you have kind of broken the code on that. But what do employers need to understand that they are not, because I've met your prospectors and they're amazingly talented, but that's not the impression I think that most entrepreneurs, they think it's like charity and it's going to be disruptive and everything else.
So what I think, well, I think they need to look at their hiring practices altogether and who they are hiring and what they are looking for in resumes and really just learn how to speak to people and really look for what role that it is that they need. And not everybody could pass a Zoom interview. Not everyone can sit down and have the interview. Not everyone can even fill out an application because of, different kinds of learning styles. So I like to ask employers to do something like what the Prospector Theater does, and it would have been like on a college application, like a part 2 or something where
Right.
people have to submit Sparkle. So they have to submit to us. They're coming in telling us, "Oh, I love movies and this and that, and I do this and that." Well, show me. Show me how you love it. Show me your DVD collection. Show me your love for it. Show me what it is that you do. And looking at maybe non-traditional ways of assessing people and kind of and bringing them in. Always say to employers who come to me like really interested in what I do and wanting to have some of that sparkle at their own company. Uh, Going through Special Olympics. Special Olympics is an amazing organization that is in
Yeah.
almost every country, and just the amount of talent raw talent that you will find. But I do believe anything customer facing, but also just in any business or organization, I ask people, please, like, think about it, making space at that table for just neurodivergent people, people with disabilities, people who have been absent or invisible. And then I think that they see for themselves that small accommodations they can make in the workforce. I mean, I'm speaking about accommodations that cost like $250. Um, it can make the difference where you've got the best employee you've ever had, and just such a win for the whole culture of your organization.
I'm curious, you have 3 now college graduates, and how are your kids doing? And how and what was their involvement as you, like, you went on this mission?
Yes, so, I mean, my kids grew up with, my kids did not know what disability was growing up because it was so natural to them, because I
Right.
always had people with disabilities all around me, so they were, their brains were formed early in just being, like, just ultra accepting. All of my kids have worked at the Prospector Theater and just know and love people with disabilities very, very, very well. My twins graduated from Dartmouth in, June, very proud of them, and my twins took a kind of different paths. My daughter works in Boston at Fidelity, and my son is a professional poker player in Las Vegas. So,
That is so,
so they,
so cool.
sparkle
I
minded.
love that. I
Oh,
love
and
that.
I got to
So
tell you,
cool.
so I went to Vegas last week. I had the best time. Saw Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. Now that's go to the future. Go see a
Wow.
show at the Sphere. And seeing Wizard of Oz at the Sphere was a magical, because I've always wanted to be, wished I could be 1939 in the audience when that first came out, where, people really on wide scale saw color for the first time, and just what a visceral reaction people had. I felt like I was in 1939 again when I saw it at the Sphere, looking far into the future of this 160,000-foot screen. It's just absolutely so immersive and gets you right on top of it. But my kids and I love to play poker, so I'm at the poker room, and when somebody at like a poker table says to me like, "What do you do?" I don't even like know like how to answer that question. At the poker table, I said I'm in the popcorn business, and somebody said, "I recognize you. I know who you are now." And I thought, oh, maybe they had our gourmet popcorn. Maybe it was a thing. Oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. Good. My kids are going to be able to hear other people like validating that they like this is important. They know who I said, you're to Orville Redenbacher. You're the widow Redenbacher. I said, yeah, okay. That's me. I'm the widow Redenbacher.
That's
That is
funny.
Orville Redenbacher, the old popcorn guy. Like,
That
that's
is
fine. That
so funny.
absolutely fine. But I do, for a lot of the reasons that I love, just like leveling the playing field. In that, I love playing poker, because when you're poker, you got a chip and a chair, and you are just the same as everybody else at that table, and it's what you do with that chip is defining.
I play cards every single day. My mother was a world-class, bridge player,
Bridge,
top,
yes.
like, 1% in the world, so I play bridge every day, but, I do it online. Um, and I love, card games because I'm very good with numbers, like, I don't forget numbers, so games that are very, like, statistics, mathematics, I love. My father, he absolutely hated gambling, and we lived right across the street from a casino where I grew up, where I would go in when I was, like, 15. You could go in, like, before everything got, started, and what I would do is start with $20, and how long could I stay at the table without losing all my money? So I wasn't trying to make money, but I'd make, like, once I got to, like, $40, I would cash out 20, I could put it back in my pocket, said, "Okay, I'm walking out with the money that I came in." I think my record is about 6 hours of just playing without losing all your money.
That's how I play too. So my kids say I'm a terrible because I'm just I'm just in there just to stay alive, and not to go in to win for it. But for me, it is just absolutely the thrill of just sitting there, really seeing how long I can last.
And what makes your son so good? Because to be at that level, the nuance is
Oh,
so,
oh,
like,
oh, he's a quant. He is a quant,
uh
and, the numbers come in, and he remembers everything, and he's got the game theory, he's got the statistics, and he's got the pot ads, he's got absolutely everything, which should be a lesson to everyone. And when I tell people all the time, never play poker with one of my kids, that people think that I mean that my kids are degenerate gamblers or something like that, and I don't want like them to gamble with my kids. No, I'm protecting whoever I'm speaking to
Yeah.
from losing money from my kids because I mean they are absolute machines. So I recognize when I'm sitting down at that poker table, I'm sitting there and I am gambling. I am gambling, and I'm playing by intuition, and I'm playing by
Yep.
what. And I'm like, oh, these cards speak to me. All the kids right now in America, it's one of the problems in America, the 6-7 thing. All the kids are going 6-7, 6-7, 6-7, driving all the teachers absolutely batshit crazy. And so, what do I get in my, I play Texas Hold'em, I get 6-7, and like those are fold cards. Like you never want to play off, so you don't want to play 6-7, but I'm like, ooh, 6-7, 6-7, 6-7, got to play my 6-7. So I know I am sitting there for fun and entertainment purposes, and I am gambling. But if you're sitting down at a table with like Rex Jensen, he's got he knows everything that's going on.
I'd be doing the same thing that you would be doing, and it's like, you know what? It's
Oh, it's anthropology, it's culture, it's what you can get from the poker table, sitting down with 10 strangers who you do not know, completely different walks of life. People with tattoos out here, they look like they just like got dumped out by like the corrections. People who you would not. Now you are actively you're engaging with these people from all over just for that for a chip, for the cost of a chip.
you just gave me a great idea. I am gonna write a scene in my second book at a casino, and I can see it now, sitting down with all these different people. Yeah, that's gonna be a very, very
Charlie,
cool scene.
let's do your let's go to a card room together. Let's walk in there and I don't know if you got a Hollywood casino there in Florida.
And I love Texas Hold'em. I mean, I just love the game and the people and but, I'm just not I haven't gone down that rabbit hole, and I'd rather be creative and create new stuff, but I love to play, and if I go play bridge I would go with my mom from 1 to 4 to the bridge club. I just love being there with her because she enjoyed it and I enjoy it.
Well, you about your writing, your obituary for your mother was one of the finest pieces of literature that I had ever read.
Thank you.
What a gorgeous tribute to her. You made her, I knew your mother, I've met her briefly through FaceTime, but I did have the privilege of knowing her. But you made her so alive on those pages, and just what, expert craft that you have. So
Well, thank you.
please send me your book. I want to see how long it takes me to fall in love with your protagonist.
No, yeah, I well, you know that my sister she's, like, super organized, like, "Charlie, you gotta write, like, mom's obituary," and I'm like, she's alive. No frickin' way," and then, she ended up passing, I get a call around 6:30 in the morning, and, so I didn't like, I had just seen her the day before, and I was gonna spend, like, 4 days writing. It was a Saturday, to be with her. But I just couldn't deal with it, so my wife went, and I just sat down then, and I said, "Okay, I have to honor my mother," and I had interviewed her and asked her all these questions, and I had, like, a 10-page document that I had written, like, a year ago, but I couldn't find it. I think, like, I replaced the laptop, and I never put it in the cloud, so I spent, like, 3 frickin' hours looking for it, and then I finally said, "You know what? Just sit down and be inspired and write," and I wrote it in, like, 4 hours, and I did I sent it to my siblings and my wife. They're like, "Oh, you forgot this, you left out that," or, "You need to include this person or that person's," but it was minor. The heart was already there, and then I said to myself, this a like, who's gonna do this when I die? I don't want, like, my kids to be stressing out, so I decided that I would write my obituary. So I said to myself, "All right, I can only write how I made people feel and what impact I had in their life, not like this accomplishment or that." So I wrote it, and, it's done, and, I'm gonna update it every year so that When I
I
go, no
do,
one has
'cause
to worry
it's
about it.
all of our life, because we are writers and we are livers, and everything you gotta do it for the plot. You gotta do it for the
Yeah.
plot. You gotta take the storyline further.
I wish I would have taken creative writing when I was a kid because I would have become a writer. And I think being a writer is so cool because nobody kind of knows what you look like. You can be famous, be sitting next to someone on a plane, they don't know who you are, which is really
Yeah,
cool to be famous
yeah,
and not be bugged or recognized. And
yeah.
all you need is a laptop and Wi-Fi, and you can be anywhere in the world.
It's funny because even though I'm not a famous writer, but people always will know that I'm a writer because, well, I usually have pen all over my hands since I have a pen and paper. So it's like, you know,
And and
I'm a
and be
writer.
careful because, an R360 member did his member spotlight this week, and, he was a hacker and a tech guy, and, his hacker name was the Brown Ninja. So my villain in the book is the Brown Ninja, and, other people that have helped me all of a sudden are reading and said, "My name's in your book." I said, "Oh, yeah, sorry about that." So
That's awesome.
well, is there any question that I didn't ask you that I should have asked you that you'd like to answer for the audience?
I don't know. We covered a lot of ground. We definitely covered a lot of, to the audience. What I would like to say is, if you enjoy Sparkle, if anything of this touched you, please get some popcorn, Sparkle in a bag, or but take a trip to Connecticut, see what it's like to trip or to experience life in the best movie theater on the planet.
Well, the world is blessed to have you in it. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to giving you a big hug and making some of these introductions to some of these really, really amazing people that I think are going to want to support everything that you're doing. So stay safe, and if I don't talk to you in a bit, have a great holiday coming up.
Thank you.